at night, but where you are, hopefully you're enjoying some good college football action as we're on the eve of NFL Sunday for week 4. We're going to be answering fantasy football questions for at least the next half hour, probably the next hour overall. We'll see how long I go. I got to get up early in the morning for Mass at the Pantheon. That's how I like to spend my Sundays when I'm in Rome. So that's how long we're going to be on today, for about a half hour to an hour. Let's see how things go. With that said, throw your questions, throw your comments in the chat. I'm here for you guys, so I'll be here answering your questions. If you want to talk some sports betting, now is actually probably a good time to do it. If you guys want to talk some fantasy football, of course, that's what we're here for. So throw your questions and comments in the chat. We kick it off with Adam. Adam's our first question. 16-man dynasty trade. Odunze for Jordan Love and Romeo Doubs. Other quarterback is Herbert. Well, because it's a dynasty league, I like this. I think Rome Odunze has a very high ceiling, not just obviously this year, but over the next 4 or 5 years. I think Rome Odunze eventually turns into a wide receiver 1, maybe wide receiver 2, because DJ Moore will be there for the next 4 or 5 years. But I actually think the investment in Rome Odunze is worth it. Do I feel like Jordan Love is worth holding on to year after year after year? No. So the only player you mentioned in this trade, Adam, that I really think has dynasty league value is Rome Odunze. So I'm actually kind of interested in the trade. I would give it the go. Ethan, would you do Debo and Braylon Allen for Ken Walker and Odunze? The answer is yes, I would most likely do that. But frankly, I wouldn't do it this week. I'd probably hold off on it. It's not a trade I'm actually jumping at to get. Doesn't have a lot of interest to me. Matt, start Walker or Chuba Hubbard? It's Chuba Hubbard. Bit of a trick question on this one. It has to really do with the Bengals' run defense. Their vulnerabilities there, so that's why I say go with Chuba Hubbard. Doesn't feel like the right play based on the name, but it actually is based on the stats. Appreciate the question. JZ017, start 2. I'd start Mike Evans and Amari Cooper. JZ017, I'd start Mike Evans and Amari Cooper. Thanks so much for the question. Appreciate you joining us for the show. Let's get to some more that pop up over here. Storytime, what's good? Storytime traded Christian McCaffrey and Mayfield for Brian Robinson Jr. and Jaden Daniels. I would say that's one of the best trades that I've seen, actually, that people have brought up. Storytime, you won that by leaps, bounds, by a mile. It's a great deal for you. Sammy, if Debo plays, it's Debo for me. Sammy, if Debo's healthy enough to go, it's Debo as the starter. Aiden, Darnold or Jordan Love? I'm going Darnold. I'm hearing crazy reports that Jordan Love and Malik Willis could potentially play in this game. I'm going to say this for what is now the second week in a row. I don't know why the Green Bay Packers are being so stupid about this quarterback situation. You've stolen 2 wins with Malik Willis. Jordan Love isn't just your franchise quarterback for this year, but truly your franchise quarterback for the next decade. Why would you rush him back? Why would you risk injury? If you were on a losing streak, if you were 0-3, if you were struggling with Malik Willis, maybe I'd understand it. But frankly, the risk to Jordan Love isn't worth the reward of a 1 win, given Malik Willis has gotten you 2 wins already. I think that this is a classic case of LaFleur being an idiot, the Packers being short-sighted. I think it's a terrible mistake. You want to rush Jordan Love back? I don't care either way, but the likelihood that he gets hurt, what's the reward? A win against the Minnesota Vikings in week 4? That's what you're risking your franchise quarterback for? I don't get it. I'd rest him another week. If you're splitting time between the 2 quarterbacks, it at least tells me that there's a reason why you wouldn't want to start Jordan Love completely. Sit him the extra week. I don't get it, but you know what? Matt LaFleur, for all the talk of genius and offensive play calling, he makes so many dumb personnel decisions, and we've seen this for years. So I just think it's a mistake. I'd sit Jordan Love this week. I'm still not believing. By the way, Minnesota Vikings are a good pass defense, so I'll put that there too. Ruben, 22-16. Need to start 2 wide receivers. Diggs, St. Brown, Ayuk, Moore, and Shaheed. Ruben, I'd go Diggs and Moore. Diggs and Moore based on the matchups this week. It's Diggs and Moore. Thanks for the question. Dan, tough one, but I'd go Shakir over Garrett Wilson. Broncos are a top 5 pass defense. The Ravens are the worst pass defense in the NFL. I'd go Shakir over Garrett Wilson. It sounds counterintuitive, but based on the data, based on the matchup, Shakir's the better play. Connor V, Deontay Johnson or Tyreek Hill? I'll go Tyreek Hill on this one. Tyler Huntley is going to be starting. Deontay Johnson had a great game last week. He's got an actually kind of tricky matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals this week. Bengals pass defense so far this year has been a top 8. I think they're 2, 4, 6. Yeah, they're the 8th best pass defense in the NFL. So they've got some good cornerback play as well. I'm just not feeling Deontay Johnson. I feel like last week kind of was that outlier performance that's going to have some people jumping in on him, and I'm not feeling it the same way. Kike Esguab, Chiefs or Jets defense? I'm going to go Jets because it sounds like Justin Herbert's going to be back for the Chargers. Jets are going up against the Denver Broncos. As long as they can stop the run, they'll create some turnovers from Bo Nix. Ethan Ingram, Higgins or Myers? I'm going to go Higgins. I know Jacoby Myers is going to be wide receiver 1 this week, so he's going to get a ton of targets. He's also going up against a good defense, and there aren't enough weapons in that Raiders offense to literally have defenders looking elsewhere. I think they're going to try to take away Myers, and I think that's one of the reasons I'd fade him. Bob Jeff Supreme, do I trade Rice for London and Achin? 100%. Bob Jeff Supreme, make that trade. It's a great deal. Sal, thanks so much for the confetti. Really appreciate it. Storytime 97, I'd go Nico Collins. Storytime 97, I'd go Nico Collins. J Money, predictions for week 4. You must be new to the show because I'm here to answer your questions. We give out our picks for tomorrow, or you can DM me on Instagram. But yeah, Ghost555, Jennings or Reed? I'd go Jawan Jennings. I'd go Jennings just barely. Ryan Turner, Jennings or Stevenson? I'd go Jennings on that one as well. Wise Guy 1089, Cooper or Reed? I'd go Amari Cooper. Keegan Gaspard, flex 2 for me. Out of that group, Keegan, I'm leaning slightly right now towards the 2 running backs, Kenneth Walker and Akers. Kenneth Walker and Akers, with Garrett Wilson being the odd man out. Los Aviation, pick 2. I'd go Chuba Hubbard and Ford. Los Aviation, Chuba Hubbard and Jerome Ford. Matthew Lester, Kenneth Walker start or wait till next week because of the matchup? It depends on who else you have. He is going to start. He's been cleared to play, so if you're really desperate, you can play him. But Mattman number 20, I'd go Higgins. Mattman number 20, I'd go Higgins. Bob Jeff Supreme, start 2. Mason Etienne or Chuba Hubbard? It's a tough one for me. The Jacksonville offense going up against Houston, not really excited about that one. I think I lean just slightly towards Mason and Chuba Hubbard. Mason and Chuba Hubbard would be the 2 for me. Nolan, pick 2. JSN, Deontay or Moss? Nolan, it's JSN and Moss. JSN and Moss would be the 2 I'd go with. I understand if you want to go Deontay Johnson, had great performance last week. I just don't think he duplicates it. Oh, 555, yes or no? I get Nico and Chase Brown. I give up Diggs, Reed, or Mooney. I don't like the deal. I feel like you're giving up a little bit too much right now. I understand you might be getting ahead of the value on Chase, but I don't love the trade, 0555. Thanks for the question. Storytime 97, I'd go Jacobs because Swift is splitting carries with Roschon Johnson. At least we know Josh Jacobs is going to get a majority of the carries as the true RB1. Sal, trade JT Pitts and DJ for Bijan, Pacheco, and Ingram? No, Sal. I'd rather have the JT Pitts and DJ side. Pacheco's out for a while. Ingram's out this week, so you're really only getting Bijan for JT Pitts and DJ. Sal, it makes no sense. It's not a good trade. Wouldn't do it. Dave W., Richardson or Darnold? I'd go towards Darnold. I understand Richardson could get more points with the rushing yards, but he's going up against the best defense in the NFL and the Steelers, and he's been playing poorly. I lean towards Darnold just barely. Zandy, would you trade Evans and Keenan Allen for Drake London and Pittman? The answer is yes, because I actually think Drake London's the best player in this group. I'm not really crazy about Pittman, but I think I value Pittman as wide receiver 1 over Keenan Allen. I think Pittman probably has greater upside rest of the season. Rivera, sit Tyreek. I got Shaheed, Moody, and Johnston on the bench. No, I would play Tyreek over Johnston. Bob, should I flex Tucker or Lockett? I'd go Lockett, but the Trey Tucker value, I have no idea. I'd be pulling it out of my butt fumble if I gave you any understanding of that. We really don't know what Trey Tucker's value is, so... Tommy Guerrero, I'd go Jennings maybe, just barely over McLaurin, Tommy. It's close between Jennings and McLaurin. Jose M, I go Kyler Murray just barely over Jaden Daniels. High on both, but I'd go Murray. Bob Jeff Supreme, start 1 for the flex. I'm probably leaning towards Higgins out of that group, Bob. Maybe just barely towards Higgins. Lanny 1, trade Dak for Jaden Daniels. 100% Lanny 1. That is absolutely the play for me. Crew Erickson, Juwan Jennings, or T. Higgins? I'd go Jennings. It's the matchup that I like against the Patriots. Augustin Puente, PPR start 2 this week. Achan, Brian Robinson Jr., Harrison, McLaurin. You got a couple options I like. I'd go Najee Harris and Brian Robinson Jr. The matchups are favorable, especially for Najee Harris. Tough to sit Achan, but for me, it's Harris and Robinson Jr., though I don't love sitting Achan. He's been playing so well. LC, Debo, or Pickens if Debo plays? It's a really good question. Given how the Colts' defense, pass defense, has been so far this year, though, I'll lean just slightly towards Pickens. The difference between the Patriots and the Colts isn't big enough. I actually think Pickens being the wide receiver 1 makes me like him a little bit more than Debo, though it is close. Jay, out of these 4, which 3 should I start? Jay, I'd start London, Reed, and Diggs. I'd sit Hill because the matchup against Snead, if you wanted to start him over Reed. So I'm actually okay if you start Hill over Reed. I'll take that back, Jay. I'll go London, Hill, and Diggs. London, Hill, and Diggs, and I'll sit Reed against a good Vikings defense. So Jay, make sure you heard that. I'd go London, Hill, and Diggs. London, Hill, and Diggs would be the 3. Dino, Najee Harris or Higgins? It's Najee Harris. He's got a phenomenal matchup against the Colts. Colts are the worst run defense in the NFL. And no Jaylen Warren. Should be a lot of opportunities for Najee Harris tomorrow. Let me put it this way. I said it in yesterday's show. If you have Najee Harris and you're not playing him this week, why do you have him? If you have Najee Harris and you're not playing him this week, get rid of him, because this is the week he's going to have the most value, the most upside. So if you have Najee, he probably should be in your starting lineup this week. Camden 22, Garrett Wilson or Ramondre rest of season? Garrett Wilson. I know usually I would say the running back, but the Patriots offensive line is exactly what I thought the Patriots offensive line would be. I'm also worried about Ramondre Stevenson taking hits in a season that's going to be meaningless for the Patriots. Meanwhile, Garrett Wilson and the Jets are going to be contending for not just an AFC East title, but contending for a top spot, I think, in the AFC. I'll take Garrett Wilson on that one. Flash, in the standard score league, pick 1. I'm leaning slightly towards Ford, just barely. It's tough for me to go over Ayuk, but I like Ford's matchup against the Raiders so much. Keep in mind, no Max Crosby tomorrow. Lanny 1, Daniels over Stroud. Lanny 1, Daniels over Stroud. George play 1. I'd go Moore, and I'm leaning towards Flowers barely. George play, I'd go DJ Moore and Flowers. Thanks for the question. Rich Matthews, what's good? Pick 2. I'd go Moore. I'd go Moore and I'd go Metcalf. I'd go Moore and I'd go Metcalf, Rich Matthews. Tough for me to sit Gibbs. I'm not going to lie on that one. But Moore and Metcalf, I think, are the better plays. It's close, though. IDK, I'd go Roshan Johnson. IDK, Roshan Johnson. Zachy Chan, super flex for the start. I'd go Mooney, but because you already have Pitts at tight end, it becomes Jacoby Myers. I don't want to double up on the Falcons' passing offense. James Delaney, Moore or Evans? It's a really good question. I'm going to lean towards Evans barely, but very close. I like them both. Wish you could start both. Ruins, with Love back, should I go Jacobs or ETN? I'll probably lean slightly towards Jacobs. I'm just not high on ETN this week. Jacksonville going up against the Houston Texans. Houston Texans' run defense so far this year is top 10 in the league. I understand Vikings are top 10 as well. I just think with how they use Jacobs compared to how they're using ETN, I think Tank Bigsby is going to start to cut into ETN's value a little bit. Yo boy Alex, start 2. Yo boy Alex, I'd go out of that group. If I'd lean towards Cam Akers. In that one, I'd go Akers and Deontay Johnson. Yo boy Alex, Akers and Deontay Johnson, I think, but it's a tough one. Lanny 1. Lanny 1, what's the question? I'm not trying to rank things. I'll just put it that way. Ask your question. I'm not really in the ranking mood. Stephen Hall, Rashad White, Bucky Irving, or Cam Akers. It's one of the 2 Tampa Bay running backs, Stephen Hall. So if Bucky Irving is healthy enough to go, I'd probably lean with him, but he's questionable, so you might be safer just starting Rashad White either way. T-Dog, trade Tyreek Hill and Pacheco for Nico and Mixon, rather. I also got sent Tyreek for Nico and Brian Robinson. I'd rather have Brian Robinson than Mixon. I know that seems crazy, but with the way Brian Robinson's producing, touchdowns, the consistency, and the fact that Jaden Daniels actually opens up the running game more now for Brian Robinson Jr. because defenses finally have to respect the passing game of the Washington Commanders. I like the Nico and Robinson side more in that deal. Robert, Amari Cooper or Reed? It's Amari Cooper. Gus Abdul, I go IU because I go wide receiver 1 over wide receiver 2 when it put in the position. Plugs Burton, I'm going to start a Dunze just barely over Mooney. I feel like they have similar value, but I'll go Dunze just barely over Mooney. Dylan, I go Braylon Allen because the matchup against the Denver Broncos run defense is bottom 10 in the league, and Braylon Allen's just been used more and more and more. Jay Benz, someone drop Brian Robinson. Should I pick him up? 100%. 100%. Yo, boy, Alex, I think it's a coin flip this week between J.K. Dobbins and ETN. They're both facing good defenses. I probably lean towards J.K. Dobbins, just barely, but I'm not crazy about either one, to be honest, yo, boy, Alex. Sean, Montgomery or Taylor? I'd go Taylor. It's a tough run defense, but he's so consistent in getting in the end zone. That's why I lean towards him. Damian Lopez, Chuba Hubbard. Your mom's husband, I have no idea if Kamara's playing. I'm watching the same reporting on TikTok or Twitter that you are, Twitter, that is. So we're going to find out together. Brody, Brian Robinson Jr. I'd go Brian Robinson Jr. Are you kidding me? Will A.J. Brown play tomorrow? No. A.J. Brown is out. It has been made official. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are out. If you're looking for a good bet right now, maybe you want to jump on the Buccaneers with that news, but I'm not gonna encourage that too much. But that said, no A.J. Brown tomorrow. A.J. Brown is out. T-Dog, trade A.J. Brown for Kupp and Debo. No, I don't think you're getting enough value. A.J. Brown will come back next week. I wouldn't make that trade, T-Dog. I don't think it's a good one in your favor. Laporta or Ertz. Good news on Laporta. Sounds like he will play Monday night. I go Laporta over Ertz just barely. Matthew, who won? Achan Wilson for Saquon. Which Wilson? I don't know which Wilson because you didn't tell me. Rich Matthews, Darnold or Burrow? Great question. It's a tough one. I'm leaning slightly towards Joe Burrow, even though he doesn't have a good matchup. But the Minnesota Vikings pass defense so far this year, actually has not been that good. The Green Bay Packers pass defense, rather. You know what, Rich Matthews? I'm going to lean slightly, I think, towards Sam Darnold. I'm on the fence on this one. I really don't want to say Darnold. I want to say Joe Burrow, but I feel like I'm doing that because of the name and not because of the stats or the matchup. The better matchup is Sam Darnold's. The better performances of late have been Sam Darnold's. I'll go Sam Darnold. It's a tough one, but I'll go there. Curly-headed, I'll go London. Curly-headed, I'll go London. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the content, enjoying the show. It's 11 o'clock here in Rome, so I'm not going to stay on super late tonight. I will be on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our normal Sunday show. So I'm not going to be on too late tonight. I'll probably be on for just a few more minutes, but I will be on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. EST, so that way you can ask a ton of questions. So don't worry, we'll get to a lot of questions tomorrow. Texas Tejano. Texas Tejano, I don't like the trade. I don't really like the trade. So anyways. Alex, I'd go Shakir. Lanny 1, thanks so much for the kind words. Camden, trade Amari Cooper for Najee Harris. I think it's got short-term value. I don't really like it for the season. If you need the running back, I get it. Does that mean Dotson will be a good start? Yo, boy, Alex, I actually do think Dotson is worth putting into your lineup tomorrow because of it. Stanky Nut, I'd go Najee and Chuba Hubbard. Stanky Nut, Najee and Chuba Hubbard. Brandon Plaster, I'd go DJ Moore just barely, but I think both are good plays. One slumpy man, which two to start? One slumpy man. I'd go Terry McLaurin and I'd go Flowers. Terry McLaurin and Flowers. Reed, I'd go Jawan Jennings. Luis Garcia, I'd go Flowers. It's close, but I'd go with Flowers. Cards 1919, need to bench one. Mooney, Deontay Johnson, Quentin Myers, Thomas Jr. I'm not sure if Quentin Johnston can duplicate the performances that he's had so far this year. That said, I really want to say sit Deontay Johnson. The Bengals have been the best pass defense of anyone that you're facing tomorrow. So I'm going to say sit Deontay Johnson and play Quentin Johnston. Or sit Deontay Johnson, play Quentin Johnston. That's where I come out on that. Should I start Jamal Williams if Kamara is out? If you don't have other options, the answer is yes, but he's not my favorite running back tomorrow. Christian Silva, pick 2, Etienne, Gibbs, Walker, and Moss. I'm going Gibbs and Moss. Christian, I'm going Gibbs and Moss. Gridiron, 99, I'm going Jennings and DK. Gridiron, Jennings and DK. Eric Anderson, is the weather in Philly still looking bad? The game's in Tampa Bay, so I don't know what the weather is in Philly, but apparently the weather is cleared out in Tampa, so we're not as concerned about the weather. Obviously, I was catching weather reports from yesterday, so. Haller, Braylon Allen, Waddle, or Javonte. I'd go Waddle. Just barely. Annabelle, bench 2. I would bench. We don't know if Olave is going to play, so keep your eye on Olave. Make sure he's healthy enough to go. I'd sit Etienne and Walker, interestingly enough, out of this group, but you might have to be forced to sit Olave if he's hurt. Luis Garcia, Najee or Johnson? It's Najee. I'd go Najee. And then between Kmet and Conklin, man, is that tough. Luis Garcia, between Kmet and Conklin, it is a toss-up. I'm leaning towards Conklin, though I know that's not the better matchup. Kmet has the better matchup. It's just a lot of mouths to feed in that Bears offense. I'll say Conklin because I think he's going to get more opportunities and targets, but Luis Garcia, that tight end position's a real coin flip. How good will Dobbins do this week? The offensive line of the Chargers is banged up. The Chiefs' run defense so far this year is like a top 12, top 10 run defense. So I think Dobbins kind of has a mediocre day. Agorum, Jamison Williams, Garrett Wilson, or Waddle. I'd go Waddle. Alex, Kyler or Daniels. I'd go Kyler Murray even though you have MHJ. I don't mind stacking them tomorrow. Nate, pick 2. Garrett Wilson or Ayuk, and Buckley, Allen, or Harris. I don't know who Buckley is. I'd go Najee Harris and I'd go Ayuk. Najee Harris and Ayuk. DJ Khaled, James Conner. DJ Khaled, Asparagus, I'd go James Conner. P. Asha, between Evans and Godwin, it's a great question. I'll go Godwin just barely. Godwin just barely for me. Aiden Thompson, do you like the Vikings defense with Jordan Love playing? It's not one of my favorite defenses, but I think you could play them. They're not my favorite, but Keegan, it's 11 o'clock in Rome right now, so no, buddy, this is the show. This is the show for today, Keegan. No subscriber-only shows while I'm in Rome, because this would be the subscriber-only show. So, nope, this is going to be it. We're going to wrap up in only a few minutes. It's a very late night here in Rome, so no subscriber-only shows tonight. Camden, Cooper or Waddle? Rest of season? Rest of season, I'm probably going Amari Cooper, a wide receiver 1 versus a wide receiver 2. Waylon, I don't like any of them. Probably go Ramondre Stevenson. Waylon, I'd go Ramondre Stevenson. Kaysen, I'd go McLaurin. Kaysen, I'd go Terry McLaurin. Raiders defense or Jets defense? I'm going to go Jets defense. It's the Max Crosby injury that's keeping me away from the Raiders. Sean, Casey or Pittsburgh? I'd go Pittsburgh, just barely. Justin Herbert most likely playing does impact that. I like Pittsburgh more. New DK, I'd go Andrews. Under the radar, Debo looks to be in line to return this Sunday. Do you think he'll be on a pitch count? If so, is Juwan Johnson worth flex-worthy? I do think Juwan Johnson is flex-worthy this week, yes. Ayuk, Evans, or Deontay Johnson, I'm assuming. I'd go J97, I'd go Ayuk and Evans. There's no Devontae Johnson. We don't have any of those in the league. But I'd go Ayuk and Evans. Yo boy Alex giving away Etienne, Dobbins, and Worthy, getting Kyron and Jaden Reed. I'm okay on the trade. I'm okay on it because Kyron Williams is worth it. Aiden, Kittle or Kmet. If Kittle is playing, I'd go Kittle. If Kittle is healthy enough to go, I'd go Kittle. Mike, I'll just say Cup for Mason and McLaurin, 100%. I'd rather have Mason and McLaurin than a guy who's on the IR or injured. I know he's not technically on the IR. DJ 21, between JSN and Higgins. That's a really tough one for me. I'm leaning, I think, just slightly towards JSN, believe it or not. DJ, I lean towards JSN just barely over Higgins. It's close, though. Adrian M., this is a no-brainer. McLaurin. Adrian M., it's McLaurin. Escated, hope you're having a great day, buddy. Mike M., I'd go Mooney. Mike M., I'd go Mooney. Camden, Waddle, and ETN for James Conner. Feels like you're giving up a little bit too much, Camden. For a 2-for-1 and James Conner, the longevity is a challenge because of age and where he is in his career. I like the Waddle and ETN side of that more. Appreciate you guys being with us. Mr. Electric, tip of the cap to you. Thanks so much for the gift. Appreciate it. Moss, Mason, or Kamara? It would be Moss for me. KSAP, Rocky, I'd go Moss out of that group, believe it or not. Luke, Mason, Jennings, or Gibbs? It's Mason and Gibbs. Mason and Gibbs. Escatit, start 3. I'd sit James Cook. It'd be Mason, Connor, and Henry. Escatit, I'd play Mason, Connor, and King Henry out of the group. Junior, I'd go Justin Fields tomorrow. I'd go Fields over Rodgers. Sounds crazy, but the matchup suggests it's a good play. Cam Prescott, I'd go Flowers. Cam Prescott, I'd go Flowers. Nuve DK, trade Waddle for Moss and JSN. I'm okay with that because I think JSN's value is going up and up and up and up. Oh, should I start Braylon Allen over Swift and Roschon Johnson? I would start Roschon Johnson, I think, over Allen. It is close, though. Cleo, the band. It's only because you're starting Breece Hall, though. Cleo, the band, start 2. I'd start Brian Robinson Jr. and Garrett Wilson. Tough matchup with Wilson. I'd still like him more than Worthy and Shaheed. User 29168, I'd go Jaden Daniels. User 29168, Jaden Daniels over Mahomes. Reverse flash. Between Akers and Dobbins, I really don't like either one of them this week. That probably doesn't shock you. I'm going to lean, I think, just slightly. I think I'm going to lean just slightly towards Cam Akers. I'll go Cam Akers just barely, but I'm not crazy about either one. Mr. Electric, start 2. Mr. Electric, I'd start Moss, and I'm going to start Pickens over JSN. Very close, but I'll start Moss and Pickens, believe it or not. Sammy, Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, or Derek Carr? Yikes. I'd go Derek Carr. I think that's the best play, but it's close between him and Rodgers. Poopy Butt Sigma. I'd go Odunze. I know Deontay Johnson will get more targets, but it's the matchup against the Bengals that has me concerned. Again, the Bengals have been a top 10 pass defense so far this year, so it's a tricky one. Bo McGee, I'd go Pickens. Bo McGee, I'd go Pickens. Texas Tejano, so I guess you think I gave up too much for Tyreek. Texas Tejano is just how your question was worded. I didn't really understand it. You were trying to be a little too cute with like, I own a cheetah now, and Texas Tejano, like, it's 11:11 at night, and I love you, buddy, but the reason I wasn't really responding to the question is I just want to answer your questions. I'm not trying to like read hieroglyphics and try to like discern it. At 11 at night, overseas, when I'm just trying to do a good deed by coming on live for you, just felt like I was just kind of being hassled. I know you weren't trying to, but I was just annoyed by it, to be honest. Samsonite, I'd go Evans. Samsonite, I'd go Evans. By the way, sometimes you guys will catch me in a moment of pure honesty where I'm going to tell you how I feel. I never want to be dismissive or rude, but I know sometimes I can come across that way because I'm tired or I'm hungry or there's something going on behind the scenes that you're unaware of. So I never want you guys to take it personally, but every once in a while, yeah, I can be a little bit of a feisty fuck. Camden, start Daniels. Jaden Daniels, Camden. P. Asha with McBride out. You think Elijah Higgins will be good production? P. Asha, your guess is as good as mine. There's no way I could possibly know. That's one of those questions where you're asking me to look into a crystal ball. We have no data on it. We have no history on it. There's nothing I can really pull from. So P. Asha, I understand why you're asking, but your guess is as good as mine. I have no data to fall back on. Sorry, buddy. Aiden Thompson, I'd go Drake London. Aiden Thompson, I'd go Drake London. Extended mags, switch Olave for Shaheed in a trade? No. Maybe you have to in your starting lineup tomorrow if that's the question. But I'd rather start Olave every week if I had the chance. Seth DeVore, start Bucky, Garrett Wilson, Ridley, or Steele. Seth, if Bucky Irving is healthy enough to go, Bucky Irving's the play for me. If he's not healthy enough to go, I'll lean towards Wilson, but I don't feel great about it. Nuve DK, trade Waddle for Moss. Oh, got that one? Yep. Justin, I'd go Shakir. Justin Eubanks, I'd go Shakir. Thanks for the question. Frankie, I'd go Scary Terry. Frankie, I'd go Scary Terry. Bunny Hop, I'd go Shakir. Bunny Hop, I'd go Shakir. Hurricane, hey, I'd go Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's going to play. I'd go Keenan Allen. Your mom's husband, I'd go Kittle. Your mom's husband, if Kittle's healthy enough to go, sounds like he will be, I'd go Kittle. Should I drop Brian Thomas Jr. for McConkey? Ryan Turner. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. I like McConkey a lot, so don't hear this the wrong way. But Brian Thomas Jr. is a wide receiver 1 right now for the Jaguars. So I like McConkey, but I'm not dropping. If you want to trade Brian Thomas Jr., but I don't really see the value. I actually think Brian Thomas Jr. is probably going to outscore McConkey most weeks. I'd like to have both of them on the lineup. Don't get me wrong. I'm very high on both. But I don't understand why you do that. You're going to drop a very talented player. Why? Because you trust Justin Herbert and the Chargers passing offense more than the Jaguars? It's not a big enough upside game for me. If you're going to do it, trade BTJ, because I'm sure there are people out there that would love to own him. Nuve DK, I'd go Bucky Irving if he's healthy. Nuve DK, Bucky Irving if he's good to go. He is questionable as of right now. Aiden Thompson, I'd go Chuba Hubbard. Aiden Thompson, I'll go Chuba Hubbard, though it's a tricky one. The only reason I'm going Chuba Hubbard is the Bengals' pass defense is bottom 7 in the league. That's why. Charles, rate the trade. I gave up Kyron, Puka, JSN, and Keenan Allen for Achan and Adams. I think he gave up too much. I don't think you're getting enough back, Charles. Really don't understand the trade. I feel like you gave up a lot. I think you think you're getting the better of the deal because you unloaded Puka. But Kyron, JSN, and Keenan Allen, I don't see how those match Achan and Adams. I think you gave up too much. I think you lost the deal. CW Barrera, start 2. I'd start Moss and Hill. Moss and Hill, CW, Moss and Hill. Gabe Sands, I'd go Braylon Allen. Gabe Sands, I'd go Braylon Allen. Appreciate the question. Hope you're enjoying the show. Cody, I'd go Darnold. Cody, I'm going to go Darnold just barely based on the matchup. Camden, I'd go Waddle rest of season. I like Jaden Reed, but I'm going to go Waddle rest of season. Is Kirk droppable? Is he? I'd rather try and trade him as like a throw-in piece in a trade rather than just pure drop. By the way, one of the reasons Christian Kirk actually may have more value than people expect, there are a lot of rumors out there that if the Jaguars lose this week, they will actually put Christian Kirk on the trade block. So Christian Kirk might have sneaky value rest of season if the Jaguars lose this week, because he could get traded to a contender and all of a sudden he could have new life for fantasy owners. Dare to Discover, start 2. I'd start K9 and Allen. K9 and Allen out of those two. Eric Garcia, Mahomes over Rodgers. Mahomes over Rodgers, Eric Garcia. Hey, it's Brando. Neighbors next week. We'll talk about next week. Hurricane, hey, I'd go Komet. Hurricane, hey, I'd go Komet. Wise Guy, 1089. Trade, get Brian Robinson Jr., give Ridley. Done. I would do it. I know that's it sounds like a wide receiver 1 giving up, getting a wide receiver 2, but again, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is now going to be wide receiver 1 in that Jaguars offense, no matter what happens to Christian Kirk. Eric Anderson, Chiefs or Vikings defense rest of season? I don't know. Right now, you would say Vikings with how they're performing, Eric, but I don't know. Rest of season on a defense, very hard to predict. Why? Because of injuries, because of divisional opponents. You don't know who's going to get healthy or hurt. Eric Anderson, very tough call. If you want to go who's off the hotter defense right now, it's the Vikings. Yo boy Alex, I could see Christian Kirk joining the Ravens. Exactly. That'd be a great deal for the Ravens if they could pull it off. Can you imagine them having Kirk, Flowers, Andrews, and Derrick Henry in the backfield? That'd be a dynamic offense. Dan, since Jordan Love is expected to play, should I start Baker or Love? I'd start Baker. I'd start Baker Mayfield. He's got great matchup. Justin Eubanks, pick 2. I'd go Kyron and Connor. In a close week. Dr. Feelgood, trade JK and Justin Jefferson for CMC, Aaron Jones, and Diggs. It's okay. I don't really like it. Christian McCaffrey's value is very suspect, so you're really trading J.K. Dobbins and Justin Jefferson for Aaron Jones, Diggs, and the possibility of having Christian McCaffrey later in the year. I don't really know how to evaluate it because I'm not high on Christian McCaffrey. So personally, I don't like the trade, but maybe McCaffrey comes back and gives you 4 or 5 weeks of good value, but that is a giant question mark for me. Currently headed Johnson, London, or Pickens. I'd go Drake London. Drake London just barely over Pickens. Etienne, Walker, Hubbard, St. Brown, Johnson, Moore, start 4. Okay, I'd go Chuba Hubbard, I'd go St. Brown, I'd go DJ Moore, and I'll go Walker. So Walker, Hubbard, St. Brown, and Moore would be the 4. Aiden Thompson, I'd go Brian Robinson Jr. and Pollard. Brian Robinson Jr. and Pollard would actually be the 2 for me, I think. Josh, I'm gonna start Scary Terry. Josh, I'll go Scary Terry. Chase, I'd go Shakir. Chase, I'd go Shakir. Sammy, I'd start Mike Evans. Sammy, I'd start Mike Evans. Josh Wybara, I'd go Chuba Hubbard. Josh, I'd go Chuba Hubbard. Sam, start 1 PPR. Charbonnet, Javonte, Chase Brown, or Roshan. It's got to be Roshan Johnson now that he's been given wide RB1 status this week. Travis Preston, I'd go JSN. Travis Preston, I'd go JSN. Lil J, that's a tough one. I'm probably leaning towards Ridley, but I don't like it. It's a coin flip. I'm leaning Ridley though, Little J. I'm leaning Ridley. Appreciate you guys joining the show. Hope you guys are going to join us tomorrow morning. We're going to be live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. 10 a.m. Eastern Time for everyone in the States. We'll do our regular NFL Sunday pregame show. 3 hours of answering all of your questions to get you guys ready for kickoff. Eric Anderson, I'd go Bucky if he's healthy. Bucky Irving if he's healthy. Lucas, got an opportunity to get JMO via waivers. Who do I drop out of the group? I dropped Dowdle. Out of the players that you mentioned. John Ryan, I'd go Moss. Who would you trade? Would you trade Ayuk for Tyreek Hill? No, Greg. No, I wouldn't. I'd rather have Ayuk rest of season. Sam, Shaheed or Keenan Allen tomorrow? Sam, I'd go Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen. Josh Keller, start 2. I'd go Shakir and McLaurin. Josh Keller, Shakir and McLaurin. KJ, Frederick, better flex. I'd go Zach Moss. KJ. Zach Moss is the better play. Blondie, I think. Joe Burrow or Jaden Daniels. It's Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is the play. Shaw, K9, Monty, Reed, Ford for the flex. I think it's Jerome Ford. I think Ford's the best play tomorrow. Ben, Dobbins, Reed, or Bucky. If Bucky is good enough to go, it's Bucky Irving. Mikhail, Ayuk, Moss, K9, or Jennings. I think it's Moss. Zach Moss is the play for me. Matt D, hope you're having a great night, buddy. Moody or BTJ? I think you want to say Mooney. I think it's BTJ's the play, but I think you're asking about Mooney. Is Pacheco out rest of season? No, he's not out rest of season. He'll probably be back in about 6 weeks, they think. Chris, JSN or Jennings? If Deebo Samuel plays, I'll say JSN. If Deebo Samuel doesn't play, I'll go Jennings. So it's about the mouths that are, how many mouths is Brock Purdy feeding on Sunday? If Deebo plays, I'll go JSN. If Deebo doesn't play, I'll go Jennings. And because JSN plays on Monday night, you'll have the opportunity to know if Deebo's playing, so you're not going to be hamstringed and rushing to find out if it's a good play or not. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are doing well. It's just been awesome talking sports with you. It's not our longest show. I know we just jumped on. I know a bunch of questions are coming up. We're not going to stay on too much longer, but hopefully we'll get to your questions in the next few minutes or tomorrow morning if you join us then. Seth, I'd go Chuba Hubbard. Bobo, I'd go Odunze. Flex for Braylon Allen or Shakir. Shakir over Braylon Allen at the flex. Brock Cruz, not into answering open-ended questions. Do some research, do some work on your own, think of some candidates who could work in a trade, and then ask me. CMC for player X, player Y, player Z. But to ask an open-ended question, just waste time. HT Cool, I'd go Laporta. Patrick, I'm going Justin Fields, I think. I'm going Justin Fields over Darnold. It's the rushing yards that got me excited. Bench Hurts this week with all the receivers out for Geno or Fields. I'd probably go Fields again. I think I might die on this hill tomorrow. I think Justin Fields is going to have a good game. Colts are bad in the run. They're bad in the pass. I think Justin Fields could have a good game tomorrow. I'm going to die on that hill. RGQ. Ooh, tough one. Najee or Chuba Hubbard? I like them both. I'll go Najee barely because the Colts are the worst run defense in the league. But man, I wish you could start them both. And between Myers and Mooney, Myers is wide receiver 1 tomorrow. If you want to go wide receiver 1 there, I get it. That's probably the play. P. Asha, trade Vikings defense and Waddle for Bills defense and Pickens. I'm okay with it, P. Asha. I'd do the trade, P. Asha. I like it. Ricky, who was your start between Moore, Brian Robinson Jr., and Montgomery? I'm leaning towards DJ Moore, maybe just barely over Brian Robinson Jr., but damn, it's close. I like both of them. Chris, sit one. Chris, out of that group, I'd sit JSN. Chris, I'd sit JSN out of that group. Harris, pick 2. I'd go Chuba Hubbard and Pickens. Harris, Chuba Hubbard and Pickens. Ahmed, Hawkinson, Terry for Laporta and Shaheed. Nope, wouldn't do it, Ahmed. Don't like the deal. Don't like the deal. I don't understand why you want a second tight end anyways. If you have Kincaid, why are you trying to get a second tight end? I'd like to move Hawkinson and just get a better wide receiver. I don't understand what your goals are. Why are you so hell-bent on having a second tight end that you can't even play most weeks? Ahmed, just doesn't make sense to me. Oh, start 1. Oh, I'd go Roshan Johnson. Mo, I'd go Amari Cooper, Mo. Ibrahim, I'd go Jacoby Myers and Carson Steele. Dan, I'd go Montgomery. Appreciate it. Camden, I'd go Waddle rest of season, I think. I don't really have a good vibe on it, though, Camden, because we don't understand what the quarterback situation is in Miami. I just think Waddle probably has... It's close. It's close between the two of them, I will say that. Ricky, I'd go Brian Robinson Jr., Jackson, Neighbors for A.J. Brown. I don't think I'd do it, actually. Jordan, Amon-Ra St. Brown for Marvin Harrison Jr. I think the last 2 trades are like, I don't understand why you're doing it. I think it's probably a fair trade. I just don't really understand why. Brett, I'd go Ford. Over Wilson. J2 P. I'd go Pollard. J2, I'd go Pollard. Dez, I'd go Darnold. Shea, K9 with a terrible matchup or Ford with an elite matchup. It's Ford. Shea, I'd go Ford. Jackie Tover, start 2, I would start Brian Thomas, and I'm going to lean Garrett Wilson. I know it's a tougher matchup, but I'll go Thomas and Wilson. Freddie, I'd go Kyler Murray. Freddie Cruz, I'd go Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray might be my favorite quarterback for week 4. So for all those out there, Kyler Murray's one of my faves. That said, I'm going to wrap up, everybody. It's almost 11:30 here in Rome, so I'm going to wrap up. We will be live tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be live again, answering your fantasy questions, giving out picks. You guys should know the drill by now. We're going to be live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and on Twitter X. So if you want to ask your questions, if you want to get picks, join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., everybody. 10 a.m. We'll be live across all of our platforms except Instagram, because I'm overseas right now and it struggles. So we will be live at 10 a.m. One more thing before you guys go. I put out a newsletter every Sunday morning during the NFL season that has all of my favorite NFL game picks, my favorite player props, and the DFS lineup I'm playing. If you want to sign up for the free newsletter, click on my TikTok bio. You'll see it in my link tree. The free newsletter has already been created. It's ready to go. It will be in your inbox at 6 a.m. tomorrow. You don't have to pay for it. It's free. You can subscribe and then unsubscribe. You can do what you want. But if you want my favorite NFL picks, my favorite player prop that plays, and the DFS lineup that I'll be playing tomorrow, sign up for the free newsletter. Hit the link in my TikTok bio. You can sign up on our website. Super easy and free, because you guys know I never, ever, ever charge for my picks. That's a rule I have, and I stick to it. With that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday night. Enjoy the premiere of Saturday Night Live. Enjoy Georgia and Alabama. Because I'm in Rome, I will not watch it, unfortunately, because it'll be a little bit past my bedtime. But enjoy that game. For all those who were asking earlier, I got the Georgia Bulldogs pulling off the win in Tuscaloosa. We'll see if I'm right about that one tomorrow morning. With that said, Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. DM me on Instagram if you want my picks for free. And make sure you join us tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. for our NFL Sunday pregame show for Week 4. Should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see you there. Until then, have a wonderful night. Bye, everybody.